What up, you guys? Empress of Duality here. For those of you that are new or might not know, my name is Brooke. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the Love Vibe Tribe. Nose itching. My subscribers, my tribe, you know how much I love and appreciate you guys. I'm going to keep the intro short today because, oh my god, the energy up in this room right now is intense, is invading. I don't like it. I don't like it. We're going to get to that. This is going to be a general reading for the sign of Libra. I can already feel that it's going to be a deeper message. Okay. Sometimes that, for those of you that are new, that's kind of just how my readings go sometimes. Like, they're not just like traditional tarot readings and what's going on in your love life, and is your twin flame coming back, and are they a soulmate? Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. And I thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, for appreciating the uniqueness of these readings. You never know what's going to come through, and Brooke just allows spirit to lead, you know. And sometimes Brooke does get those general messages and confirmations. The purpose of these readings is to bring love, healing, and the utmost clarity, to push your soul to the path that it truly desires, bringing you confirmation and clarity on your path, some advice, some assistance, some motherfucking tools, okay? And today I'm interested to see where this is going. But if you are new, hit the subscribe button so that you know every time I upload a new video. And don't forget to drop a like, you guys. Really helps out the channel. So let's just go ahead and get this. Let's just go ahead and get this started. Libra. Like I said, I do feel a heavier energy. I do feel an intense energy, and I do feel an invading energy. Like something or someone has just like is trying to just invade your space. And I don't like it. It feels lower vibrational. It feels distorted. It feels obsessive. It feels manipulative. Anyways, so we're going to see what that's all about. And the way that I like to structure these videos is we start out with a meditative session and what came through, any channeled messages from spirit, any confirmations for you guys, and just kind of let you guys know the energy dynamic that's at play for the collective of Libra. So what does that mean? The energies that are currently influencing you, the energies that are present for you to harness. Okay, and this can go both ways. It could be negative influence of energy. It can be a positive influence of energy, right? It can be, I'm just going to leave that there. So, Libra. It's funny, it's almost like this energy influence, whether this is a person in your life or if you're more on the spiritual side of things, this is like an energy, an entity of sorts. And what's interesting is, like, I feel like whatever this interference is, that's the two words that I would use to describe this energy, is invading and interfering, okay? And what's interesting is there's like this duality happening simultaneously. It's like on one side, and I feel like these are going to be more spiritual messages. It's like on one side, you're like astral traveling, you're having lucid dreams where you can, even for some of you, you're having like dreams about the future and you're seeing it happen and unfold in front of you. You're feeling the love of spirit, you know, connecting with higher vibrational beings like Jesus, for example, Mary Magdalene, they're two of my favorites. You're feeling the presence of their energy, right? And you've become really aware of their presence around you. However, there's this duality aspect to it where there's that. And then on the other side, there's just this manipulative force. It's like the force of love with the force of darkness, you know? The force of love with the force of evil. Like, that's kind of how it's feeling. I don't really feel like this is something like a spiritual attack at all. It feels explorational, you know, like a journey of exploration, a journey through the depths of duality, and then through that journey being able to harness the frequency of neutrality, becoming the bridge between both. So take that as you will, Libra. So here's the thing that Spirit wants me to mention. If you are emotionally distressed, if you're stressed out, if your mind is scattered and uncertain and angry and frustrated and sad, then you will more likely see the darkness, the light and the dark, right? The duality of spirit, the duality of humanity. You will most likely have experienced that vibrate on the same frequency that you are putting out. So if you are a practitioner, if you do work with energy, if you do tap into spirit, if you're a reader, okay? Now I understand. If you're a reader and you're tapping into the collective energies, you're tapping into spirit, you're tapping into the higher selves of the people that you're reading for, there's a few things that Spirit wants you to know. So for one, if you are tapping into those energies and you're not in the best internal state, you can leave yourself susceptible to inorganic frequencies penetrating your space. You can leave yourself susceptible to demonic forces invading your personal life, right? It's almost like an energy attachment where you had a soft spot and you tapped into the collective and there was a channel established to receive that lower vibrational energy. This is an interesting reading. So if you know, if you're a reader or if you do energy work, if you're a witch, if you work with the elements, if you work with, what are they called? Like sage and frankincense and all of those different things you concoct and mix up in your little bowl and make potions and that kind of thing. Like, whatever you're doing, Libra, let's just make it simple and short. Whatever you're doing, there's an energetic side to it. There's a spiritual side to whatever you're doing, even if it's a business or if you're reading for people, doing energy work for people, whatever that is for you. If you notice that you're not in the best internal state, maybe before you do the energy work, before you tap into to do the reading, for one, put the channel outside of your personal energy. So what does that mean? That means when you go to, I'm going to use readers for example, when you go to do a reading, instead of absorbing the energy, you can even envision like a channel of energy. And all the higher selves of Libra, you've invoked their energy in to bring confirmation, to bring messages for healing, to serve. And they're all just sitting here in front of your crown, right? So what you can do is envision a channel established from those energies. Then there's the channel to your higher self. Not to you, right? But to your higher self. For one, that'll get you clearer messages. And two, it'll kind of protect you and put the energy outside of you so you're not absorbing it. And if you do channel, you're not channeling it through your chakras, but you're letting your higher self come through and give the message. So if there is any energy attached to the message, you're not pulling it through your field. You're not absorbing it in. You're just kind of observing, you know? So let's see. What else? So they want me to tell you another little trick for those of you that are doing energy work or reading or whatever you're doing, right? That involves energy work, however that plays out in your life. Another thing that you can do if you are struggling internally, if you're going through a dark night of the soul, but you still got to do your energy work because like that's your business, let's say. What you can do is when you go to practice, you can command your ego to step aside. You can command your ego. What I say is, commanding the ego to step aside and allow my higher self to guide. Honoring the ego for all of its protective ways and commanding the ego to step aside and allow my higher self to guide. So that way, if you do have any mental trash going on, emotional trash, emotional insecurity, any lower vibrational energy that you're personally moving through, so that doesn't get mixed in with the messages or the energy that you're pulling through and then taint it, right? That's what you can do. And another thing is when you know that you're in that state or you're moving through a dark night of the soul, you are doing some shadow work, you're shifting your mental body, you're healing your emotional body, right? All of that stuff. You're moving through trauma. You can even envision taking all the personal stuff and just putting it on the shelf for a minute and allowing your higher self to step in and serve. And if you know that you're in that state, calling in some extra protection, calling in the angels, calling in the archangels, calling in your higher self to direct the energy to do the work, and lighting a candle, like little things like that. Invoking those energies, speaking it out loud before you do energy work really makes a difference. Just like Brooke was talking about with like the energy dynamics that are in play for Libra. When you're going to do with energy work or you're going to do a reading or whatever, you get to invoke, you get to make this sacred space, and then you get to build the container. So if you can envision like, here's me, and then there's this circle around me, the sacred container from which I am channeling from. Then as I pray, as I use my throat chakra to command energies in and to command energies out, right? That's the gift of your throat chakra, the mechanism to command. And as you're speaking these things into existence, it sets the stage for the energy that is in motion. It sets the stage for the messages that you will receive. It also invokes protection. So there are boundaries within the safe and sacred space that say, okay, I will not. Brooke is not going to absorb any of the energy. She will just observe. You get to set those energy dynamics in play when you go to do energy work. I don't know why this is coming through for Libra, but okay. So I'm just going to leave that there. Apparently some of y'all needed to know that. But it helps you like protect yourself. So I hope that was helpful to you guys. To you readers. To you light workers. To you energy practitioners. Okay? And I just heard from one of your higher selves like, yeah, like my readings haven't been as clear, or my energy work has just felt off. My products have just felt off. Well, maybe it's because you're doing some internal shifting and that's kind of getting into the mix of what you're creating, you know? So actually, Spirit just said that there's two different ways. You can channel that darkness into something that is serving, right? But you have to acknowledge it and take responsibility for it and intentionally, consciously shift it as you are creating, right? And then the other thing is you can just, not push it away. It's very important that you don't push away the internal stuff, but you can consciously and intentionally say, Brooke, I know that you're dealing with some challenges at work. I know that you're dealing with some shakeups in your relationship, and I honor you for the journey that you're on. Right now, I would like to give you some relief, give you a break from the personal experience of it all, and just take all of that and put it on the shelf for now. We're just going to shelf it. We're not going to ignore it or abandon it. But we're going to practice some self-love and just taking a break from it all, putting it on the shelf for a little bit. And invoking that energy, having that conscious conversation, commanding that energy in, setting the stage, it really shifts the energy that you are alchemizing, right? That you're playing with. Okay, here you go, Libra. So I'm going to shift the energy for a little bit. Oh, that feels good. Okay, now let's get some. With all of that being said, let's go back. With all of that being said, that was something that you needed to know, Libra, okay? Because maybe you do personal readings for people and you notice that when you do the readings, it's almost like the energy lingers for a bit. Or you find yourself irritable for no reason, irritable with your partner for no reason. Like you have no reason to feel that way. And it seems to be every time you tap into someone's energy. Okay? So this is your confirmation that, like, yes, that's what's happening. Those tools that Brooke just gave you, kind of implement those. So just to make it very cut and clear, okay, you can command your ego to step aside and allow your higher self to guide. You can have a conscious conversation and intentionally be present with yourself. Have that intimate conversation with yourself and say, hey girl, like I see you. I feel you. I am here for you. I will not abandon you. The inner child sometimes needs that security, and I'm getting emotional. You need to have that conversation with your inner child, because it's almost like internally you're going through all of this turmoil, all of this shadow work, all of this shifting, and the inner child is feeling it all, is hearing all the thoughts, is reliving some of the traumas that you went through. And then you're just trying to go into doing work, go into energy work, while your child is sitting there screaming, right? So sometimes just having that conscious conversation can really neutralize the energy. The third thing, call in extra protection, your angels, your spirit guides, your past loved ones. Okay, light a candle. Those little things really will make a difference. And also, creating the channel outside of your personal identity. Because if we're being honest, there are times when Brooke's doing a reading, it's Brooke. She's using her life experiences. She's using her personal learned knowledge to share messages, right? And then there are some points where it's outside of Brooke, or it's spirit that's coming through and giving these higher perspectives, or channeling the energy that's going on with whoever she is reading for, right? So, yeah, those are the little keys, okay? Now we're going to move on to a little bit more of a personal side of what's going on with Libra. And there's a lot of channeled messages today, you guys. And like I said, this is just isn't the typical tarot channel. We'll get some cards eventually, maybe. I don't know. But I'm going to trust Spirit, and this is what's coming through. So Libra, there has definitely just been massive inner awakenings to the shadow self. I'm hearing massive inner awakenings to the subconscious mind, to what you've been carrying for a while. And the message that I got for you in the meditative session was Judgment Day. That's what they said. And it made me think of like the Christian beliefs about like what happens when you die. Like when you die, you are standing, sitting, kneeling before the Lord, and he judges you and says that you can come into heaven or go to hell, right? That whole story, yeah. So just using that to bounce off of, that's kind of what you're going through. This is what Spirit said to me, and it was really beautiful. I thank them for the message because I felt it in my heart. You know, they were like telling me or reminding me of the Christians' belief about like Judgment Day, right? And Spirit said that when it comes to the Judgment Day, when the human stands before God, it is this pivotal moment in the soul's journey, in the soul's evolution, where they are face to face with God, right? And many people hold the belief that when this happens, when this day of reckoning occurs, when Judgment Day occurs, when you get judged to see if you make it into the kingdom of heaven, people think that that's what happens when you die. Well, that's where they're misconstruing the teaching, Spirit saying, misconstruing the story, because that is something that takes place while we are still alive. It is something that we go through over and over again in our lifetime, this dying of the old self, right? And this awakening or this rebirth in a way into higher states of being, higher states of living, higher states of consciousness, right? So it's the same thing, and that's the energy that's coming through for you, Libra. Sorry, I got a bug bite, okay? Where it's like it's Judgment Day. You are standing face to face with God. And what they want you to know, and what Spirit's saying, is when it comes to Judgment Day, baby, it's not God or someone outside of you that is judging you. It is actually you coming face to face with the judgments that you've made about yourself, that are limiting to you, that are keeping you in a box, that are causing you pain, right? So that's kind of the energy that's in play right now, Judgment Day. Okay? So let's get some cards. Let's see what they have to say about this Judgment Day for you, Libra. New direction. So I feel like there are some ways, Spirit's saying, in which you self-sabotage. You punish yourself. You beat yourself up. You tell yourself you're not good enough. Telling yourself you don't look good, or no one cares what you have to say, or like there are just these little things inside of your subconscious where you're just like ripping yourself apart, is how it feels. Like regrets about things, grief, anger, frustration, a lack of self-love. And like what Spirit's saying with the energy that's in play for you right now, the journey that you're on, the evolution of your soul, the awakening that's happening, the inner awakening that's happening. It's a dark place, man. Like, I'm sitting here like listening to Spirit, and it's just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. I don't want to feel anymore. Like, I'm tired of the pain. I'm tired of the guilt. I'm tired of never fucking being good enough. No one understands me. Like, and those are the judgments, Libra. Those are the judgments that are causing you suffering. And that judgment day energy where you're sitting before God, those are the things that, honey, you got to take responsibility for. Because it's like poisoning yourself with these negative self-talk. It poisons the mind. With beating yourself up, it poisons the emotions. And it leads you to act and do things that don't make you feel good. They don't allow you to be your true self. These judgments, these fears. And I'm not really sure what to say right now, Libra. To be honest, I wasn't expecting this kind of reading. I mean, I never know what to expect, but the reason, Spirit's saying the reason for this judgment day ascending, the reason for this judgment day is to sit with self, to sit in that space, recognize where you're self-sabotaging, where you are literally poisoning yourself, and to be able to, what it's going to do for you in the long run is get all of the things that are blocking your connection with your soul's expression, right? You've been settling internally, not feeling like you're safe enough to show up, safe enough to be honest about how you feel. And there will be this pivotal moment where you're going to be sitting with those things. And when you can learn to love yourself through your flaws, love yourself through your mistakes, then those blockages that are blocking you from your soul's expression, that make you feel numb, that make you feel unfulfilled, that make you don't want to be here, just taking the time to acknowledge, okay, you know what, I do shame myself a lot. I do. There's like a really cute shirt that I wanted to wear, but like it shows my boobs, and you know, I don't know if that's okay. I don't know how people are going to accept me. I don't know what people are going to say. But you really want to wear the shirt, but then you don't, because you talk yourself out of it. You shame yourself out of it. You know what I mean? And like little things like that build up. Can you imagine? This is what Spirit's saying. Can you imagine a child? And every day with this child, the parent comes in and the child's like, hey mom, I want to wear this shirt today. And they're like, are you fucking stupid? Why the fuck would you wear that? You're like a slut. You're like a whore. People are gonna think that you're this, that you're that. No, you can't wear that. But it makes me feel really good, mom. I like the color. No. And like that's how you're talking to yourself. And just acknowledging that, Libra. Just acknowledging those thoughts. Acknowledging that talk. And then what will happen through sitting with that self-sabotage, sitting with that distortion of yourself that tells you that you're not good enough, what'll happen is you get to take a look in the mirror and let go of all of those, the self-criticize, the self-shaming. And that is a good start. It's a good place to start being present with what is causing you this pain in your heart. And just being present with it. Sitting in front of God, being intimate, speaking about what is going on with yourself even, is going to give you this day of reckoning where you get to remove all of those blocks. You get to remove all of those judgments about yourself that keep you from being able to be who you truly are. You have to settle, taking off the mask. So let's see, what is the binding energy to your current person or situation? Purge that shit, baby. Look, and understanding. You're going to see that all these ways that you have judged yourself, that you have deemed yourself unworthy, that you have deemed yourself weird, not good enough, trash, whatever it is that you say to yourself, man, it's like embedded within you, this story of unworthiness or just beating yourself up. You're going to see that voice, when you are sitting in front of God, the voice in your head that's been telling you these things, they're not even your own. Someone taught you this. Someone taught you to treat yourself that way. And you didn't know any better. So you know what? You get to forgive yourself. You get to let go. You get to understand that, oh, it wasn't ever really true. What my dad said about me, what my mom said about me, what my brother and sister, my friends, what my friends at school said about me. They called me this weird, or they called me whatever, right? Fill in the blank. Oh, it wasn't true. That's what Judgment Days do. That's what the Day of Reckoning does. That's what God's love does. He purifies these stories that we have accepted as our truth. He purifies us from the emotional attachment to what people have said about us. You know? Let's see, overall energy. Overall energy for Libra. Overall energy for Libra, please. Abandonment. People in your life have just walked out or abandoned you. Like, just straight up. People that you loved. Again, it's like people that you loved are the ones that put these stories in your head that you're not good enough. People that you loved are the ones that shamed you, misunderstood you, laughed in your face, made fun of you, right? People that you really loved and really cared for, it feels like they've just abandoned you in certain ways, but it isn't personal. This is one of the most beautiful things Spirit ever taught me, is how people decide to show up in my life is not a reflection of me. It's not my responsibility. It does not validate my worth, right? Just because someone is ugly to me, just because someone lies to me, just because someone leaves, because someone picks on me, because people that I love abandon me, it does not validate my worth. It does not mean that I'm not lovable. It does not mean that they don't care. They're just caught up in their own personal shit, you know? And patience being here. And like, maybe that's the lesson that you're learning. That how other people show up in your life has nothing to do with you, baby. It doesn't. The things that other people have done to you has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. And accepting that it wasn't personal, accepting that it wasn't your fault. You know what I mean? And then forgiving yourself for taking on other people's shit. You've been like this little energetic punching bag. You know, for some of you, you may find yourself distancing yourself from friend groups and from family, like you're at a gathering or at a party, or, you know, everybody's having a good time and you want to distance yourself. The reason that happens is because you're constantly taking on other people's energy, other people's thoughts about themselves, other people's emotions, other people's stress, because they're pushing it away. They're abandoning themselves, and you're like this little ball of love that they think that they can just put it on you and you deal with it. You know what I mean? And some of them don't do this intentionally. They don't mean to push all of their shit and all of their energy onto you. They just don't know how to deal with it themselves. But the thing for you, Libra, is that there's a part of you that is accepting it, that is giving permission to be the punching bag. And that's what this day of judgment is. Why? Why do you sell yourself short? Why do you tell yourself you're not good enough? Why do you tell yourself that you need to change or be anything other than you already are? You know, why do you allow people to throw their crap onto you? Let's see the tarot cards. And then the thing is, Libra, you're like the little punching bag that everybody purges all over. Because I get where you're coming from. It's like, well, I love them. I want to be there for them. So even if they're not being that good to me, I want to know that they're worthy of love. But then when the roles are reversed, when you're upset, when you're struggling, when you got things going on, you don't feel comfortable letting anybody know what's going on. You feel guilty. You feel guilty for feeling sad. You feel guilty for being upset. You feel guilty for, you know, being angry. You know how it feels when everybody puts all their shit on you, so you feel like you don't want to put all your shit on anybody else. But that's not true. Being vulnerable and expressing how we feel, being honest with ourselves and honest with others, we're not being honest about our feelings so that anyone can fix it. Sometimes there's no fixing it, there's just being with it, being present with it, being open and holding space and loving each other, supporting each other. That is true strength. Alright, let's check out this settling card. Everything that I just said. That's crazy. Everything that I just said. Being willing to nurture and uplift everyone else, but then shutting yourself out, shutting everyone else out when you need some help and some support. And then some of you, I can see you like in the middle of the day, just all of a sudden, just breaking down. This energy just comes out of nowhere where you're like having a panic attack, or you start crying, or you can't control your emotions. It's because you're here for everybody else, but you're not showing up for you, baby. You got to put you first. You have to love you first. And you have to love you enough to express how you feel, to let it out. Because if you keep holding on to it, it becomes so heavy that eventually, no matter where you are, what you're doing, probably at the most inconvenient time, it's going to catch up with you. And God is calling you. Spirit is calling you. Come sit with me. Come sit with love. Come sit in the mirror face to face with God so that you can finally see yourself how we see you, how you have always been. Come sit with us, and we will relieve you of this restlessness, of this impulsiveness, of this anxiety. Of this uncertainty in your mind. You want to know, I have addiction in my story, right? In my journey. You want to know what the number one cause, I would say, of addiction is? Lack of self-expression. Just continuously, over and over again, shutting yourself down, bottling up your emotions, not taking responsibility for your thoughts, not even being present with the things that you're thinking about yourself, not being present with the emotions that you're feeling, and pushing all of yourself aside. What happens when you don't express yourself authentically and you keep pushing you away? You start to feel numb. You start to feel sad. You start to feel unfulfilled, not good enough. Because everything that is you, that is true, you've pushed so far away that all you can see is the distortion, is the lies, is this manipulated illusion of who you are. And then I feel like I just heard some of you were like, who am I? Like, I don't know who I am. Like, who am I? It's only because for so long you've lacked that soul expression, But that's what this Judgment Day energy is for. To give you the opportunity to call yourself back in. You're so big-hearted, Libra. But right now, maybe the first step is just admitting, just to yourself out loud, admitting, I'm not happy. I'm not okay. I try to act strong because I don't want to be a problem or a burden for anybody. And it's killing me inside. I'm losing touch with who I am because I hide the darker parts of me. If I can't be loved and happy and big-hearted and nurturing, then I don't want to show up because I'm not good enough for anybody. No, that is what you will get to see, beautiful soul, when you sit with God. They will show you that even in the epitome of your darkness, of your hurt, of your broken heart, my God, there's still so much love. You are still worthy of love. And maybe that's the lesson here. The journey that you're on, Libra, is learning to express those sides of you that you judge, that you won't accept, allowing other people to see that, allowing yourself to just show it, to be angry. Sometimes anger is the force that is necessary to invoke change, to relieve you of conflict. You're not throwing that energy at anybody and telling them to deal with it like people would have done to you. You're just being honest about how you feel. And that can be the seed that you plant, and it's anger. Take that seed, label it anger, put it in the ground, express it, and it will birth opportunities that you never would have thought. But you have to trust yourself and love yourself, relieve yourself from the judgment, and just express yourself honestly. Okay. That's what I got. That's what I got, you guys. I know it was a heavy one. And I honor you, Libra, for all of the things within yourself that this calling of God that's happening. You know what's funny? Is that inner calling from God to love yourself, to dig out the nasty, grimy, ugly stuff about yourself and show it. It's really you, baby. You are calling yourself to do that. You are calling yourself to love those parts of you. You are calling yourself to relieve yourself from the judgment, to be reborn, you know? And if you need any assistance through this shadow self, through this rebirth, that is what people like me are here to do, to serve you in this space, to be that mirror to you of the potential that you feel inside of you. And that's what's been so challenging for you, Libra, is you've always felt special in some way inside. You've always felt all of this potential inside of you, but never quite known how to harness it. The only thing standing in your way is your judgment about showing up, about expressing it, being honest. And if you need some assistance through that, some tools on how to navigate this, on how to relieve yourself from the judgment, I would love to assist you on your journey. You can visit the website empireofneutrality.com, and there are personal readings on sale for $40, and there are also more intense sessions that we offer that you get me and Danny, or if you're just more comfortable with me or just more comfortable with Danny, you can arrange that too, where, you know, this is what we dig into, this is what we heal, this is what we transform. You don't have to do it by yourself. Isn't that beautiful? You get to be understood. You get to be loved through your shit. You get to purge all of the anger, all of the shame, all of the guilt, all of the regret, all the missed opportunities. You get to just show it all. And then you know what's reflected back to you? Your worthiness, your passion, your integrity, your love, your confidence, your will, your determination, your inspiration. Because sometimes we need help in those spaces, okay? We're not meant to do it alone. It becomes too much. It becomes too much. We begin to carry too much, and then we purge at the moments where we really don't want to. it overtakes us and we have those panic attacks, those anxiety attacks, or those really somber depressions, you know? This is a safe space for you to explore yourself, for you to heal and transform your life. I love you guys. Libra, you got this. And I am here if you need any other assistance. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Empress of Duality out.